and Control J. And I'm going to fine tune this a little later. Control J. So I'm joining in all these mystery passages, either the too tights or the unknowns. J. And we need to split this up. Oops. Grab that. Let's grab our scissor tool. Cut there, cut there. Get rid of this segment. And let's see. Somewhere in there are the endpoints. Apple J. I should have joined it. Let's grab those guys. Apple J. And we got one more there to join. Oops. Let's grab our white arrow tool. Grab both of those. Apple J. Alright, so we now have a solid shape that would go around our cave. And I'm going to delete some of these other things that I don't need. I don't need this underlined passage. And I don't, let's see, I think that's it. What I'm doing though is I'm going to keep these gaps, these voids that represent our bedrock. So that one, and then this part of our passage here, and we'll show you why we might need those in a minute. So now that I've done that, what I can do is grab this shape. There we go. And then I can give it a fill. So let's double click on here. Let's grab some sort of a light reddish color, a pink, hit OK. And now I have a nice big solid shape. And I'm going to change the arrangement of this because once I filled it, you notice that this shape is sitting on top of the other passages that or the lines that I'd drawn. So I'm going to send this to the back, send this shape to the back. So I'll go Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And there we go. Now I can see these guys. Okay, and I don't really need a border on it. It's got a black border, so I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to come down here and click No Fill. Okay, and let's see. Let's look at it. There we go. Okay, so now I've got this solid shape, and what I need to do is cut out these portions here so that they're hollow. So in order to do that, I'm going to use what's called the Pathfinder. So I need to open my Pathfinder palette window. And then if I scroll down here, there's my Pathfinder. That opens right there. Okay. So let's move this guy up here with my layers. I'm going to close my color. Close transform. And the Pathfinder, what it does is the Pathfinder merges two shapes together. So if I click and drag to select these, or more than two shapes, grab both of those, and actually what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to get rid of the color on the stroke, so it's going to have no stroke or no fill, but it'll still be a shape there. So let's see, let's move this down and click that. Back up. Alright, so if I click and drag there, I should select both of those, this invisible line and then the actual fill that we have. And now I'm going to use the Pathfinder, and I can't remember which button it is. Some of these will merge shapes in different ways. So let's try this second one. It says minus front, option click to create a compound shape. Let's click on it and see what happens. There we go. Cool, that one worked. If I were to click this one, let's see what happens. That doesn't work. So really you have to click, and I'm just undoing here and figure out which one does what you want it to do. And it was this one here. And now it's cut out the middle of our cave. So let's do that with the other lines that we have. So I'm going to grab this one right there. I'm going to grab this one and that one. And let's get rid of the fill color. So no fill, or no stroke, I mean. And then let's grab those guys, and actually let's see. Let's grab that and it's kind of hard to select them sometimes. So make sure you got them all selected. You could probably just go click and drag like that and grab them all. And same thing, Pathfinder, click that little icon. Let's click off of it, and there we go. A nice, beautiful fill. So at this point, what I can do, let's turn back on our regular walls. So I've got my solid, let's click on this guy. So there, I've turned on my walls layer now. Okay. And I'm going to grab this shape. So I'm going to click on this shape, and let's make it a white fill. So actually, before I do that, let's do this. Let's close this guy. Let's turn on everything. Well, except for that, we'll turn on the slopes, coralloids, rocks fill, ledges, cross sections, float, stone, solid walls, silt. Okay, and that's good. Now let's see, cross sections we don't need. Okay, so I've turned it all on, but I'm not seeing it. The reason why is because this layer here is sitting on top of everything, so I need to shift the position of it. So let's grab this and let's move it all the way down here to, see, to the very bottom. Okay, there we go. So now that it's sitting on the bottom, there's my nice beautiful fill. And really it looks hideous because who's ever seen a pink cave? So there we go. Now if I wanted to create a shape around the outside edges, I can do that as well. The way that I do that is I'm going to keep this solid cave fill. Let's actually, let's grab, see, I've turned that, unlocked everything, so I should be able to click, and since I've got everything locked except for this one, I can just click anywhere here and it grabs that shape, and then I'll double click to grab the color, and let's make this color white, and I'll hit OK. And then what I can do at that point, so I've got this white fill, it doesn't look like anything because it's the same color as the background, but I'm going to grab my pencil tool here, and I'm going to draw, let's see, let's create a new layer. And it shows up on top. We'll just call it layer 16 for now. We could call it something else. Call it the blob around the cave. I'm going to move the window down a little bit so you can see what's going on here. Okay, so I've got my new layer, layer 16, which is above the solid cave. Actually, it needs to be below it. So we'll put it below that solid fill that we created. And I'm going to grab and draw a shape. So we'll just draw some sort of a blobby shape around here. Here we go. And let's keep her going back to here. And I'm going to double click to give that a fill color. Let's make it blue. Okay. So now I've got this fill, but because I've already created, or this blob, but because I've created a fill over the top, it doesn't show. I don't see the blue underneath. Watch what happens if I turn off this solid cave fill that I created earlier. See that? Now it's hideous, but I've got this white fill that I created that will now separate the cave from that blobby background. And I think that's about it. So you could do all kinds of creative things. You could then grab this shape and you could come up to, let's see, let's unlock. Let's come up to effect, and maybe we could add something like a blur, and there's a Gaussian blur right here. So I'll click on Gaussian blur, and let's blur it a couple pixels, and go something like that for, see, I need to move over so I can see the effect. Let's go more than that. It's too many. Something like that, hit OK. And now I have a nice blurry shape around it. So there are all kinds of crazy and cool things you could do once you have that fill. Makes it look like the cave is floating there. So I think that's about it for creating this solid fill and giving your cave map just a little bit more oomph.